Aloha and welcome to Piano TV. So today we're going to build on information from the last video where we talked about chords and chord theory and the two most important chords no matter what key you're playing in, the tonic and the dominant. So if all of this is sounding like gibberish, definitely go back to the previous video. I'll link it below so you can check that out and get all caught up. So today we're going to be doing more chords in the key of G major, as well as how to manipulate and play around with those chords. So let's get started. So last week we talked about two different ways to play chords, either solid or blocked, or as a lively hip-hop happening bottom-top pattern. So right now I'm just playing C chord to demonstrate. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do another variation of just a basic chord, which will create an elegant, gentle mood, and that is the broken chord. So it's kind of what it sounds like. Broken chords are when you play each note of a chord individually like this. The easiest way to play a broken chord, if your time signature is 4/4, there's got to be 4 beats in every bar, is to go 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 3. If you're in 3/4 time and there's only 3 beats in every bar, you just omit the last note and play 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. And I'll show you what that sounds like in the context of a song. So I'm just going to play the very beginning of You Are My Sunshine in the key of G, just to show you what this is going to sound like with solid chords first. Now listen to what happens when I play the exact same song, except now I'm going to do a broken chord pattern. So there's a variation on this broken chord pattern that sounds even cooler, but it's a lot harder to play. So I'll give you the option. The sheet music this week is written with this more difficult pattern, but feel free to just simplify it and do the 1, 3, 5, 3, if that's all you feel up for. So the variation on this broken chord requires playing an arpeggio, and what an arpeggio is the 3 notes of your chord plus the top note. An octave at the top. So your fingers need to be stretchy to do this. You need to go 5, 3, 2, 1. In 4/4 time, your pattern will sound something like this. So you're going 1, 3, 5, 3, 8. 1, 3, 5, 3, 8. So this is also a useful pattern because when you're playing a 7 chord like G7, it enables you to actually hit the 7th note like this. 7. And it just sounds a little bit more interesting. So yeah, like I mentioned, this is what you're going to see in the sheet music today, but again, feel free to simplify it. Alright, so here's the music for You Are My Sunshine, and you can see this broken chord pattern that we were just talking about all written out in the left hand. So this is a tricky pattern to play in conjunction with the right hand. So the best way to learn this is to play it hand separately, maybe the right hand first, maybe the right hand next, really mastering both parts before attempting it together. And when you do start putting it together, it's important to go slow just to make sure that you're not making 1,000 mistakes every time you try. And you will get the hang of this pattern hands together. It just takes a little bit of work slow first. So another thing that might seem intimidating about this piece is that it is 2 pages long. But the good news is that the second page is basically just a direct copy of the first page. It's very, very similar. The one difference, and this is important to note, is the dynamic in the second page is mezzo forte, and the dynamic in the first page is mezzo piano. So it's really, really important to bring out the differences in volume in order to create contrast between the very similar first and second pages. Alright, so there's something else exciting that's going on in this piece, and that is an incomplete measure, also called a pickup measure. So if you remember what 4/4 means, that's a time signature, and it's telling us that every bar in this song is going to add up to 4, which if you just glance through and do some, super simple math, you can see. However, the very first bar of our song only has 3 beats, not 4, because technically the piece doesn't begin until this note. This is when like the true action of the song starts, and these 3 notes are just like leading into it. So that's why it's called a pickup measure or an incomplete measure. Now what you'll see at the end of the song, and this is true of any song that has an incomplete measure, is when you look at the very end, you'll see that last beat sitting at the end there, which would complete the incomplete measure. So if there's only 3 beats at the beginning instead of 4, that 4th beat can be found at the end of the song to kind of wrap it all up. So when you count a measure that is a pickup measure and doesn't have 4 beats, remember with 4/4, we always want to count up to 4 in every bar, because that's just the easiest way to keep track of where we are. With the pickup measure, instead of counting 1, 2, 3, we're actually going to count 2, 3, and 4. And the reason for this is because, again, that first beat is hiding at the very end of the song. So this song technically starts on the 2nd beat. So that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoy the songs and you get to practice them and have fun. As always, I'll link the blog post below where you can find the PDFs for technical exercises and the song that we played today, so you can practice and have a good time. Thanks, and if you like what you see, you can subscribe and keep up to date with all the videos and sunshine and lollipops. Thank you. See you later. What do you say when you mess up but you don't want to swear?